Hi, everyone. Soccer practice and waiting for soccer to get over. So it took me a little bit to get home and set up and get everything together. So I just want to introduce myself. My name is Tiffany Rasmussen. I am your college plan scout. And tonight, if you are watching this live, if you can hashtag live in the comments, if you are joining and you catch the replay, go ahead and hit hashtag college. So I know who has joined in us live and who has joined in the replay. And at any time, if you have any questions, I will try to get to the questions and answer and be able to answer all of those questions for you. So a couple things that I wanted to let you guys know what I am talking about tonight. So some of the topics are going to be what are colleges looking for in and when you schedule classes. The other is dual enrollment versus AP, that your math class matters. So being able to understand how your math class matters. So colleges are always going to be looking that your schedule is more rigorous each year you go on. So what does that mean? What does rigor mean? Rigor, typically as a college, they look at rigor as honors classes, AP classes, taking a more difficult schedule each year. And they want to see if you took, say you were a freshman and you took AP Human. Well, the next year they want to see that you're going to take another AP class and potentially either maybe 1 or 2 AP classes. If you haven't taken any AP classes as a sophomore, they're going to look for your junior year that you've started to take some AP classes. Excuse me. So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, your schedule overall looks more rigorous than it did the year before. And that is something that you have to play around with, because choosing those classes, you start to get into options. You may have some core classes that you are required as part of a program that you are in. So that always eliminates some potential elective options. And as you go on, you start to get choices. So you get choices in what science course you want to take. You get choices in what English course you may want to take. You get choices in what math class you want to take. Certain classes are going to be the same every year, but other classes you get an option of what to take. So again, looking at your schedule when you are scheduling your classes, is that more rigorous than the year before? Because that's what the colleges want to see. They want to see growth in your academic performance and growth in you taking on more challenging courses. The second thing is foreign language. If you want to know how many minimum foreign language classes you should be taking, it should be at least up through the 3rd year. And I say that because in our state, and again, most colleges are looking for at least 3 years of foreign language. So that's definitely something you want to consider how to fit that in. If foreign language is your love and you love it, continue on as far as you can go in that particular foreign language. But at minimum, you want to have at least 3 years of a foreign language. And here's the thing. When you are setting up your classes, and if you guys want, I have a 4-year blank plan so that you can kind of look at your classes and as they progress. The one ultimate goal you want to have is that during your senior year, you have 5, at minimum, 5 core academic courses. That means you have a math, you have a science. You never give up on those 2 during your senior year. You have a math, you have a science. Depending on the school you're in, you may have your economics and your U.S. government, and that would only be your 1 year, which means you need to still have a potential English, or this is a great opportunity that if you love science, you can double up on your science. You can double up on another AP elective class that is an academic elective that you like to take. So you need to understand that whatever your goal is, you don't want to run out of classes that you can potentially take during your senior year, because they're going to look at that schedule when you apply to colleges. So even though they look up the grades up through your junior year, your senior year schedule is something that colleges look at and consider. Is the student going to be college ready when they end their senior year and come into our school during their freshman year? Are they going to be ready? If you fill your senior year up with elective courses that are non-academic in nature, they are not going to consider that you are college ready, and you are going to be placed at the bottom of their list. So it's very, very important that your senior year is the most rigorous year, and it is more rigorous than your junior year and includes at minimum 5 core academic classes. That's where you are going to see those college acceptances come in, because those are the insider secrets that they don't tell you, is that they're looking for those certain things in your classes. So the other way colleges kind of look at what you're taking in comparison to what and how they define that you are taking rigorous classes is every school's different. Some schools offer 16 AP courses throughout the entire length of your high school career. Some offer 2. So they look at the school profile and they look at how many classes does that school offer that's a rigorous nature. That's AP, dual enrollment, whatever the school offers. And then they look at your schedule to compare how many opportunities did you take to take some of those rigorous courses that your school offers, and how many did you not take. So every school is compared differently based on what classes they actually offer. So you don't want to get into, well, so-and-so's taking this class over at this school and whatever, because every college is going to have what they call a school profile on your particular school, and they're going to know what AP classes are offered at your school. They're going to know what advanced classes are offered at your school, so they can really judge you by the school that you are in. So that is something to consider as well. So again, colleges are looking for, let me just sum it up real quick, rigor increased each year, foreign language up to 3 years, minimum 5 core classes during your senior year. Even if you don't want to, 5 core classes during your senior year. And Nick, I saw your question, and I'm going to get to that question at the end, and I will let you know the answer to that question. So remind me if you don't hear me answer that question at the end. And then they're going to look at a comparison of what opportunities you have at your school versus what you're taking advantage of. And one great way to see what AP classes are offered at your school can be through the curriculum guide that most schools will post online. Or if you go into your PSAT results, when you look at your AP potential as part of your PSAT analysis, and if you still need that sheet, let me know. Say hashtag PSAT, and I will make sure I email that to you. And in that PSAT analysis for your AP potential, it will show you what classes are offered at the school you're at. So it'll have a little check mark. If you show AP potential in a course, and if it's offered at your school, you'll see a little check mark that shows that it's offered at the school that you're at. So if you're ever wondering, that will be in your PSAT analysis. Even if you just took it in 10th grade, or 9th grade, you can look at it there. All right, so here, my next topic is the big debate between dual enrollment and AP. So dual enrollment offerings are an awesome opportunity. AP classes are an awesome opportunity. But here's how I've always defined who should take what. AP classes typically are very rigorous courses. They're going to require reading at a college level. They're going to require a lot of time outside of class. They're going to be very similar to how college classes ask you for a certain amount of face time. Well, if you ever want to know how much a 3-credit class in college, how much time you should spend outside that class is, you always double that amount. So if you could take a 3-credit hour class, that might mean 3 hours of face time, and that might mean 6 hours on your own time outside of college. So you always want to understand that AP courses could potentially give you college credit. So they're going to be very, very rigorous. So you really need to make sure you love the content. And here's why I decided that. If you don't love history, let's say, AP US History is a very common class for juniors to take, or whenever that plays in your school. It is a college sophomore level reading course. And if you have an amazing instructor, like I know we do at some of the schools around here, it may be a fun, engaging, invigorating, it could be an awesome course to take. But guess what? If you don't love US history, it is not the class to take just for the sake of taking an AP course. So for instance, my daughter who excels in school, we determined early on, based on trial and error, that her strengths are in math and science. So she takes AP courses that are stronger in math and science, and dual enrollment courses in courses like English, and eventually it will be economics and history, because she's going to get the same grade extra points as an AP class, but it's not going to be as rigorous as an AP course would be, seeing the teacher 5 days a week and the fast pace of those classes. So I highly recommend, when you are looking at your rigor level and you are looking at the type of classes to take, if it's going to be an AP class, make sure it fits at least a couple of these things. Make sure it fits a content that you absolutely love. Make sure it fits. It could potentially have a teacher that's the most amazing teacher at that school, and you are going to benefit by learning from that particular teacher. And make sure that it's not too many that you feel like you can't balance yourself with also being involved in school. So if you have so many AP classes that you're taking that you don't find any balance, that's going to come through on your college application as well. So just understand that it needs to be something that's going to provide you balance. The thing about AP, though, that I don't know if a lot of parents know, and seemingly a lot of times I say this, is that colleges will not see your AP scores unless you provide them. Let me say that one more time. Colleges will not see your AP scores unless you actually provide them those AP scores, which means when you apply to colleges, they just look at your schedule, see that you took it, see that you potentially got an A or a B in this rigorous course, and they don't even know your scores. Now, teachers really want to encourage you to pass that test, and I don't want to take away anything from that. But if your fear of taking an AP course is based in, what if I don't pass the AP exam? Who cares? Colleges don't care, because you got to remember, colleges are a business as well. And guess what? A lot of times they actually want you to take that course again at the college level with an 18 to 21-year-old mind. And I heard this from an admissions director at one of the many colleges I have toured and explored. And it was that their medical program at this particular school was turning down students that took AP Calc, AP Physics, AP Chem, all in high school, and never took them at the college level. And the reason they were turning them down was because they wanted to see students that had taken these courses with an 18 to 21-year-old brain, not a 15 to 17-year-old brain. And it was important for them to think about the content differently, and they knew they were going to be exposed and think about the content differently if they took those courses in college. Again, I am not saying don't take those courses in high school. I am saying take those courses with the expectation that you will probably retake it in college, and that's okay. If you want guaranteed college credit, that you are looking to take off some of the bill of what college is going to cost, I don't recommend doing it all through AP courses. I recommend doing a balance of AP courses that you truly love the content so that you can really, truly thrive in that course. And I recommend dual enrollment for courses that you really want to just get guaranteed college credit. So that means AP courses, you really want to make sure you can take them and manage an A or a B in the course. If you get a C during first semester, make sure you know what you need to do to get a B or an A during second semester so the colleges can see that growth in learning. And AP, the other thing about AP versus dual enrollment is AP grade is going to stay on your high school transcript. Dual enrollment grades are going to become your college transcript. And that is the one thing that is going to stay with you for the entirety of your college career. So you really need to make sure if you're going to take a dual enrollment course, you take that into huge consideration, that it needs to be a dual enrollment course that you can maintain an A or a B in. So if you're thinking content, I typically recommend some of the humanities, speech, getting college algebra, any of those type of dual enrollment courses are great because those are all standard courses that you must take as a freshman or sophomore in college as part of your prerequisite courses. And it's a great way to get them out of the way. They are not a highly rigorous course. And a lot of times the colleges look at those as elective courses, but you still get the same weight as you do for an AP course. So you can really balance yourself. So you can take AP Chem, AP Calc at high school, and you can take speech and college algebra at the dual enrollment level. You can take Comp 1 at the dual enrollment level. If English isn't your love, and you've already taken AP Lang for your junior year, take Comp 1, and not take AP Lit if AP Literature is not what you love. If you don't love reading Old English literature and understanding how to analyze historical literature, and I apologize if I am incorrectly stating what AP Literature is about, but if you don't love that content area, that class is just going to seem like a burden to you, and you are not going to be able to excel in it. And remember, picking your classes is all about finding the balance of what works best for you. So colleges do not care about the AP score. Dual enrollment credit, you want to make sure if you are taking dual enrollment, you do not get, the only way you're going to get the college credit is if you get a C or above. But remember, every grade that you get for dual enrollment is part of your college transcript. So you do not want to mess that class up, because that is going to follow you, and a college will look that you've at least maintained a 3.0 or above on your dual enrollment courses. So it is a plus when you're doing that. So you really want to make sure that you do that. And again, like I said, dual enrollment's a great way to take some of those core content classes that you don't want to take at the AP level at school, but you also don't want to take at the honors level at school. So to get that same level of credit as AP, but maybe in a less rigorous nature, would be a good way to balance those. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about before I start answering questions that I see popping up is that your math class matters. Now, I am a former math teacher by trade. I spent 15 years teaching math from middle 6th grade math to Algebra 2, and I can tell you that I know students struggle with math, and I know it's not something we like to say. We like to just say, oh, we're not good at math, but it is definitely something that you need to work towards to become better at. So the reason I say that is most colleges want to see that you've taken at least, at minimum, Algebra 2. So whatever progress you need to get to take Algebra 2, you need to take Algebra 2. If you really want to be more competitive for schools, at minimum, you need to get to pre-calc. If you are looking at very highly selective colleges, you need to get to AP Calc. AP Stats is a great course as well, don't get me wrong, but AP Calc is where it's at. If you are a junior taking AP Calc, colleges are going to notice that. If you are a senior taking AP Calc, colleges are going to notice that as well. This is the time that you decide, you know what, I'm going to get help, I'm going to get tutoring, I'm going to reach out, I'm going to try my best. Because if you want to go to college, you need to at least get Algebra 2 up through Algebra 2, because most colleges now are looking for 5 math classes. That means if you took Algebra 1 as an 8th grader, you needed to maintain and take math classes throughout the entirety of high school. I know juniors now that are on their 5th year of math because they took Algebra 1 as a 7th grader, and they're going, well, I don't want to take math next year, my senior year. You take it anyway. Every college is going to look for a science and a math class in your senior year schedule. So if you don't love math or science, maybe look at those as dual enrollment courses. Take college algebra, take stats, take liberal arts math at the college level, because that's different than liberal arts math at the high school level. Whatever you do, you need to have those classes on your schedule your senior year. And whatever you need to do to go through that progression, if you look at your freshman year, what your math class you're coming in at, you need to make sure you progress and you get help when you need help, because I know there's lots of free tutoring options. There's Khan Academy. A lot of math, what it takes is actual effort. You cannot download the app that tells you how to do every problem to answer your homework. It's actually a class that you need to do well in, because math, even though I guarantee you, and I told this to my students all the time, you are not going to be asked to solve an equation ever in the workplace unless you're an actual math teacher. You are not going to be asked to graph a line, tell the line parallel or perpendicular. I know that. But right now in your brain, all these neurons are starting to make connections, and they're going to make even better connections when you are struggling in a math class and doing well in a math class. And you need all of those neurons to start connecting and making all these bigger connections, because when you get off to college, you're going to be asked to think at a higher level than you were ever asked to think in high school. And you're going to be asked to do it at a more independent level. And if you are not ready for it, you're going to struggle in college. So I always think of math not as, okay, the content, are we ever going to use this? I get it. I absolutely get, where are you going to use this? Because there's going to be calculators for you. There's going to be computer programs that do the things for you. It's the logical, sequential, critical thinking skills that math gives you in order to build all of these connections in your brain and in all these neurons that start connecting that allow you to start thinking at the level you're going to need to think at in college. And I don't even say it for the SAT. SAT, 80% of the SAT is going to be up through Algebra 2. It's not going to look at anything higher. I will tell you a little secret about how math is looked at from the college level. If you have an option to go into analysis and functions, or you have an option to go into pre-calc, colleges do not consider analysis and functions and trigonometry. They don't consider it any more than an honors course. They don't consider it. They consider it almost at the same level as Algebra 2. So pre-calc is going to be a more rigorous option for you. And here's the one thing that you have to do as parents, as a student, you need to become your biggest advocate for a math class, which means, let's say you make an A or a B in your math class and it's an honors level, and you don't pass the state exam for whatever reason. And it's not the one that doesn't prevent you. It's not Algebra 1, doesn't prevent you from graduating from high school. But your teachers say you can't go on to the honors level next year, but you've maintained an A or a B in this honors level. You need to be an advocate to say you're going to do it anyway. Because if you get off that track, you may often not have the opportunity to take the class that you wanted to by the time you're a junior or a senior. Okay? Things like math for college readiness, things like liberal arts math, those are not even considered rigorous math courses in the college's eyes. So you really need to make sure, if college is your end goal, that you are taking classes that they are going to recognize as a rigorous content level course for math. So again, if you're struggling in math, you need to reach out to your teacher. You need to reach out to Khan Academy. You need to reach out and get a tutor. I know that there are, if you have a Mu Alpha Theta group at your school that offers tutoring for students, or if you have free tutoring that's offered at the school, that is a one class that you really need to maintain a high level in, more so than any other class. Because I will tell you, the secret ingredient in the best sauce in the world of you as a college student is going to be the math class you get to throughout high school. And that's one thing colleges are going to look at more than anything. It's a big secret that will differentiate some of these seniors right now that are getting accepted to colleges. You can have student A that has a 4.3 GPA and a 1100 on their SAT, and you look at a student with a 3.4 GPA and a 1200 on the SAT, one gets in. This one right here that had that 3.4 GPA, one with the 4.3 GPA did not get in, and the differentiating factor is their math class. One is in AP Calc, one is in Calc. And if the college is going to look at GPA and test score, they're also going to look at math class. So if there's that line between, should we take this student, should we not take this student, and that student was in Calc. Believe me, the college just missed out on a very great student, so don't get me wrong. But that differentiating factor is something that they're going to look for. All right, so I've covered those three topics. What are colleges looking for? dual enrollment versus AP, that big debate, and how much your math class matters. So I wanted to be able to answer some questions as far as questions that are in regards to that I got on Instagram first. So one asked if I'm looking to take some AP classes this year, but go to full dual enrollment next year. That's a great idea. One of the things that I feel like as a system needs to change is our opportunities of classes to take our senior year. And sometimes those opportunities do not outweigh the benefits of being able to go to full-time into college and get out with a full associate's degree and 2 years paid for. Because one of the biggest ways to end up paying for school is to take dual enrollment classes because they're guaranteed college credit. This is one thing I failed to mention. AP classes are not always guaranteed. Even if you get a 3, which is considered passing, that college may only accept 4s or 5s for that particular course. So it is not a guarantee of college credit because it all depends on how you do on the exam. So whether or not that. So if you're taking some AP, but you're looking to go full dual enrollment your junior and senior year, if that's going to work for you, colleges look at that as just as rigorous. And you make sure you reach out to me and I will help you make sure you set up those 2 years so you don't go over and above what you should be taking, but you set yourself up because if you do full-time dual enrollment, one of the things that students find is that they don't get accepted into their major that they want to go into in college. So you really need to make sure those first 2 years have the prerequisites set for what major you want to apply to when you actually get to the college. If you do plan on going, a question was, if I plan on going to college, should I take at least one AP class? Absolutely. Depending on what year you're in, you definitely want to get an AP course on your transcript. Absolutely. So another question I got was for incoming freshmen. I want to say, because I think I know this question, if they've done 2 years but struggled through it, and I'm assuming this is for foreign language, should they still do a 3rd year? Yes, absolutely. If you want to attend one of our schools, depending on your state, in our state, all colleges in our state really want to see 3 years of a foreign language. So that is something that they kind of check off of their list. So yes, I do recommend, just because different teachers may teach it differently. I recommend getting on Khan Academy. I recommend getting on YouTube, whatever you need to do. Maybe even take it online. I heard today some kids talking about if you take the odd years online, sometimes it's a little bit easier. Whatever your options are, I would definitely recommend taking that 3rd year of a foreign language. All right, so some questions I've had on Facebook. My son took the SAT last year but needs to take it again. Do you recommend that he take it again in March or May? So depending on what grade level you're in, if you are a senior and you're taking it for college entrance, so you're looking to increase to get accepted into a particular college, maybe you got deferred until higher test scores came in, you need to take it in March. If you are taking it for scholarship purposes, in our state of Florida, we have Bright Futures. You can actually take it up through the June test and still qualify for full Bright Futures. So you want to make sure that depending on the year, so I'm going to assume it's a senior, that yes, I would definitely take it, but I would take it in March if it's for entrance into college, that they're looking for updated test scores. If you're looking at it for scholarship purposes, go ahead and you can even take the May or the June test. All right, so I have another question on here. If my GPA is at or above a 4 or 5 after junior year and you want to raise your GPA, should you take Comp 1 over English for honors? Absolutely, because Comp 1 is going to be considered a 5-point class. When you make an A in it, English for honors is only going to give you a 4.5. So dual enrollment, remember, is counted exactly the same as AP. It gives you up to a 5 for an A, a 4 for a B, as those are the grade points you're going to get. An honors course will only give you a 0.5 point. And here's the other thing about GPA. Colleges are going to recalculate it anyway. So whatever your high school transcript says, because sometimes they give a credit level or credit points of 5 for some honors classes, and on your high school transcript, colleges are going to redo your entire GPA because they're only going to look at your 4 content classes. So your math, your science, your English, your social studies classes, and your foreign language, and anything that's considered somewhere in there as an academic elective. So they're going to take away any computer class that you've ever taken. They're going to take away any elective class that you've taken in music or band or anything. They're going to take away any, if you have any different class offerings that don't fall under one of those academic areas, they're going to take that out of your GPA anyway. So you have to understand that they're going to recalculate it only based on academic courses and foreign language courses. I really hope all of this was helpful. If this just raised a whole bunch more questions, schedule a free call with me. I will spend a half an hour with you on the phone and chat with you and try to answer some of these questions for you. If this is really confusing and you want to see how it's going to work for your individual child, please work with me and I will be happy to get a 4-year plan for you set so that you can kind of just see it and your kids are ready and you understand, because all I do is I look at where you want to go and we work backwards. We know we need to take 5 academic courses, but we also maybe are in a program that we need to take and reserve some of those courses. So we work backwards to make sure you're taking the right progression of those courses. For instance, say you want to take AP Bio. I recommend taking that after you've taken an anatomy and physiology honors. So you can take that during your junior year and AP Bio your senior year. If you're going to take AP Chem, you take it right after Chem honors. Depending on the types of courses, I may have insight into some things that you want to take into consideration that may benefit you and your child. And you may have a rigorous track that doesn't involve AP, but I show you how to increase the rigor of honors throughout every year. Whatever the case may be, I am happy to help. My name is Tiffany Rasmussen. I am your college plans gal. And I just saw one more question. So trying to choose 10th grade math and Algebra 2 honors now, pre-calculus, no questions, nothing but pre-calculus. Only choose pre-calculus next year because that's going to set them up to be able to take an AP course their senior year. Or trying to choose 10th grade math, yes, definitely pre-calc, because if they're in Algebra 2 honors as a freshman, they're definitely ready to take on pre-calc their sophomore year, and then they have the option of taking AP Calc their junior year. So yes, definitely pre-calc, no questions. Don't let them talk you into anything else. All right, so that's it. If you guys have any more questions, please leave them in the comments. I will make sure I go back and answer them. I appreciate you sitting with me this whole time. It was great seeing so many people pop in and get questions. And I hope you got your questions answered. But again, feel free to reach out to me, schedule a free phone call with me, schedule some time with me, whatever it can, because all I'm trying to do is help demystify this process so that you guys feel better about what you're doing every day to get to the goals that you ultimately want to go to. Again, my name is Tiffany Rasmussen. I am your college plans gal. Feel free to reach out. I hope you guys have a great night.